All right, guys, I have this brand new chassis I just finished. We're gonna throw this thing together. I'm gonna show you the whole build process, and it is gonna be a sight to see when it's done. One of the most intricate chassis I've ever built, fully skidless. That means all of our link mounts and tabs are made on our own. Let's get to it, guys. I can't wait any longer. All right, I got my axles right here, custom painted steering linkage. These guys are ready to go. I got my first set of links on the bottom. These are our front links. My transmission and motor are right here, looking nice, super nice. Really happy with how this came out. Both of my servos, my drive shafts, and all of my miscellaneous hardware. So let's start it. We're gonna flip the chassis upside down and start installing our links. Here's our linkage on. I think we're gonna move on to the front axle. Let's put this bad boy on and see how our link geometry is, and maybe we need to adjust some linkage. All right, our front axle is sitting good, so now we can move on to the rear. All right, our rear axle is bolted up with our links. Everything's clearing good. We're gonna bolt the shocks on like we did to the front, and then we can start putting our transmission in. All right, our suspension is done. I know it looks like it sits really high, but it actually sits low with the weight of everything else in it. And there are mini springs inside the shocks to keep these drooped. I'll show you those later. All right, you can see that our transmission bolts on straight on the bottom here, just like any other standard transmission, and it's all held in place very strong, very nice and tidy. Everything's super close together here. I got a custom Hobbywing Fusion with a blue plate, 2800 kV, very nice. Let's move on to the next part, start putting on our interior panels. So this is our interior plate. This will hold our on and off button and our receiver. So this panel here is our interior panel, and this will hold our battery. Very close. I mean, when the suspension is drooped, it's almost hitting, but that's how close it's got to be to have the center of gravity that I want. All right, now our drive shafts are bolted up, so we can go ahead and put our skid plate on. There's our skid plate on. Let's take and put our drive shaft protection plate on. Our drive shaft protection plate's on. Let's go ahead and start putting these side panels on. All right, so we have all of our interior electronics hooked up. Everything's ready to go. Now we can bolt on our final panel, which is our dash. All right, we're about ready to bolt on our tires. One thing I was gonna mention about these axles is they are an 8mm stub, which is great. So much stronger, you get to use an 8mm bolt. Everything is just better. Almost indestructible. I have not broken one of these yet either. All right, we're almost done. Just gotta get a battery strap and let's head home and play on the rocks. Shout out to the homies at Rapid Storage. I even got a color matching Velcro strap. All right, she's ready to rip, but not before some scenic shots. Yeah, the clearance on this truck is amazing. I mean, I built it so basically I can keep all of the functions of a normal straight axle rig with portals. So I don't have to worry about hitting most stuff. Everything is clearanced as much as it can be, as close as it can be with the clearance that I have here. I mean, this chassis is insanely tucked together. The rear steer on this buggy is amazing too. It just works so good. Like, most people don't realize how hard it is to get rear steer set up on a buggy, so it actually works. You can put rear steer on any old Capra, but to get it to work how you want it to work and work good every time takes a lot of work. So that's a lot of work, I'm saying. Whole lot of work into a buggy like this. Let's see if we hit here. Yep, but we slid pretty darn good, so I'm happy with that. Nice. Coming up to a little bit more of a clearance and climb here. We got a really steep wall we're pushing our axles straight against, and it's pretty steep. We don't look like we're catching on anything though so far. It is wet, so we don't have much for traction, unfortunately. Let's see if we can come around the back here and... Oh, that was almost it. It's starting to get muddy though, so I'm kind of losing my momentum here. Oh, there it was. Nice. All right, we got another pretty steep climb here. This one is super loose, or not, well, I mean, the bottom is loose, but the top has almost no traction, so I don't know if we're gonna be able to pull over this with how wet it is. Oh, that was almost it. Oh, there it is, there it is. Nice. Okay, now the drop. The drop is where things... Hey, there's one of my old shock tabs. The drop is where we're really starting to talk about some serious angle. Nice. That was badass. All right, I got a super steep wall here. We're gonna see if this bad boy can do it. Now, with how I have these shocks set up, I'm not gonna say that they are the best for steep climbs. I mean, this truck is not really made to do steep stuff, but it is an all-around good crawler. And just like that, wow. I actually didn't think it'd do it. I mean, I'm outdoing my expectations here. Let's see if we can come down though. Coming down is gonna be the problem. Oh, getting a little off camber here, but that'll happen. And this fusion, you know, the speed control that you get with this is amazing. Like, my hand is barely on the trigger, but really like that fusion setup. For $100 off AliExpress, by far the best brushless motor combo you can get. And another climb. Now this one, I'm gonna go ahead and say that it's not really looking good just because it's granite, and granite is slippery when it's wet. But it may do. Now this is where side hilling gets sketchy, because if you guys can see this, we're really ooh, there it was. All right, let's try that again. That was kind of embarrassing. I thought we were actually gonna make that not flip over, especially on our brand new paint job. And okay. Yeah, I just had to gas it out of that. I was like, I am not falling again. Thing looks really nice though. It's a darn good looking buggy, I'll say that for sure. Probably, I mean, if I'm really gonna say it, this is probably one of the nicest buggies I've ever built. Oh, I don't know if this is happening though. You know, climbs like these where you're really just depending on your suspension to not unload on you, make it difficult. I mean, like this buggy is really for crawling, not a whole lot of bouncing. If I was gonna do bouncing with it, I just have to understand that I'm gonna roll it a lot to make up the same obstacle that I would with a normal bouncer. But let's give this a good shot here. I think I got a good roll up right here. I think if I keep my right front where I want it to be, we might be able to pull it. That was close. Nope, denied. All right, here we go again. Oh, there it was. Oh, now we have a really, really, really big drop here we're going off of. These are all aluminum panels, by the way. Oh, I didn't even really get that on, talk about that, Glenn. These are all aluminum panels, by the way. So all of these panels look like a lot of weight. They're really not. I weighed it. They're like literally an ounce or two, all of these panels. It's literally nothing. So let's try that one more time. I think I'm gonna try coming up from this right side again. Yeah, look at these TSLs, man. I tell you what. These tires, and I'm just running stock foams. These are not special foams here. Yeah, these are great working tires. These are a year old. I mean, yeah, they're missing some lugs here and there, but that'll happen. They were on a bouncer, so these things were on a 3800 kV motor 24/7. I'm gonna try to use my rear steer here. It's kind of hard to use rear steer one-handed. But here we go. Oh, front flip. That counts.